So I'm Saleem Javed. I'm the founder of Human Managed. I am also the Chief Data and AI Officer. So for the next 20 minutes, I'm just going to run through the idea behind Human Managed, what are we doing today, and like how this is actually being built, and like what type of services that we deliver. So let's talk about the what. What is Human Managed? What do we do? So this is basically an AI that models, orchestrates, and operates services across industries. So this is like pretty vague, I understand. So when it comes to talk about services, what are these? A service is something which is like anything which is repeatable, measurable, that delivers an outcome. So for example, in cybersecurity, it's detection, triage, and response. In a different industry like healthcare, it's about patient tracking, hospital operations, and medical equipment. Likewise, in construction, this is what it means. So service is something which actually runs a core business operation of any industry. Now, how do we actually model this, orchestrate it, and operate it? So we have broken down intelligence into 8 different types, and we have created 3 different workbenches and 18 different operational phases. So this is basically the basis of like how we have broken down this problem across multiple industries so that we could actually deliver a service. So what are these 8 intelligence type? So this is actually applied to SecOps, which is the demo you're going to see, but we also have applied it across multiple different workbenches, which I will talk about. So these are artistic, numerical, sensory, spatial, emotional, linguistic, reflective, and physical. So we always talk about intelligence as like more of left and right, which is like something which is more analytical and emotional. But that's again like pretty vague. We drilled it down even deeper so that we could focus more on what is required for specific industries. So when, like, let's say for example, there is this numeric intelligence, which is like the traditional ML, statistical, all we talk about logistic regression. So these existed for a while. This is still required to perform calculation, whereas Gen AI is more of the linguistic type. With agentic AI, you could make that into reflective. So this is the concept of like what we did with regard to modeling intelligence. Now, what are the workbenches? We broke this down into cyber, digital, and risk workbench, which again applies across multiple industries. So a cyber workbench does sense and secure. And these are the different phases of a cyber workbench. So which is, it detects, discovers, triages, profiles, reacts, and resolves on a high level. And this is the loop in which you can actually automate this without any human intervention. You have an autonomous service. And the purpose of that service is to protect and respond across hybrid environments, cloud, on-prem, or like any type of like industrial environments as well. Now, among the 8 different types of intelligence, numerical, reflective, sensory, and physical actually play a pretty huge role on cyber. And this is basically where we have added more weights to actually take these decisions. So operational intelligence, when it comes to cyber, is more about like those micro decisions which operators take. So this is exactly what we have modeled so that a decision can actually be taken which is event-driven. And the outcome is basically creating a situational awareness of what's happening and how a response can be initiated in the physical world. Now let's move to the digital workbench. It's all about designing and delivering. So it's all about designing, discovering, deploy, build, measure, and evolve in the same lines of what we saw with cyber. The purpose is to architect and evolve a digital system using AI native services. So we are reconsidering every single service which is actually built in an industry. Now that we have AI, how would you actually build it with that? Now, the dominant intelligence here is more of artistic, spatial, reflective, and emotional. So this is basically a different type of weights compared to cyber. And lastly, This is the outcome, which is continuous digital innovation and secure by design automation. This is the outcome which we are trying to achieve. And when it comes to risk workbench, cyber and digital actually is controlled and like managed and governed using risk. So here we assess, identify, prioritize, quantify, measure, and evolve. With this, you actually have those 18 operational phases, which performs what day-to-day operation happens across multiple different industries. So what we have modeled is this, and we have applied to real-time use cases where, like today, we deliver cybersecurity operations, fraud operations, using exactly the same model. So what we have really built is an intelligence loop which actually connects across multiple industries as well as using those workbenches. So how did we do that? We built a unified asset language across these industries. So every business is more keen on creating assets, protecting their assets, and generating revenue through those assets. So that's basically what was formed as the core. We built assets across multiple different industries, and all those interactions were used to create different type of workbenches which would deliver a service outcome. So this helps with the reuse and orchestration, as well as creates the service intelligence which is required across multiple sectors. Our platform, this is not a theoretical concept. This is not an idea. We have already built it. So this is basically how we have created a data and an AI infrastructure which collects information about the assets which we have modeled. We use tools to collect the posture and behavior of that, and that becomes a data source which is available across multiple different data types. We collect them, we store them, we process them, we transform them, and we present them. All of this is happening in real time or in batch, depending on the use case and depending on the knowledge which we are presenting. So let's say, for example, these are the different type of assets. These are the tools which we use for posture, and these are the sources through which we collect them. And this is exactly how we collect them. We have different ways of like whether receiving the data or collecting the data directly by using an API. We push it into a streaming solution, and then it moves through multiple different orchestration engines. I have already listed out the tools right there. Then we use machine learning and deep learning to process them, create features, extract features, create labels, and then transform them, add on context, put them into a vector database so that like it's searchable, made available. And lastly, we make it consumable to our user through 4 different products, which is a data product where the user can actually query and get the data, and an app product where you create those metrics, and this is available as a report and a presentation, and a messaging product which actually sends out notification if it requires some sort of an action, and lastly an AI product where you use natural language search and query to interact with the intelligence which we have created. We built all of this using AWS, and like we use close to 30 different services under AWS across different accounts. These are some of the few. This is basically where we collect the data and the infrastructure. This is just purely the infrastructure through which the data moves. This is basically where we prep the data, transform the data so that like it can be fed to the AI engines. And this is basically where we collect customer specific data, which is like very controlled using like different type of like data residency. And lastly, this is the AI engines which we use using like multiple different like platforms and generate the insights which I just spoke about. We have designed multiple AI agents. Our concept of human managed will be shown because of this design which we use. So almost every single decision is controlled by an AI agent. First, it moves to a software agent. So if software is always going to be faster than an AI. So if it can be solved by a software, we use that first. Whatever cannot be solved by a software moves to an AI agent. And whatever cannot be solved by an AI agent moves to a human agent, in this case, our analyst. So most of that, close to 20% today, is what comes to a human agent, which is what we call human managed. So this is basically what is human managed. The rest can actually be automated using our platform. That's basically how it works in real time. This is how it works in like not so time sensitive batch. So what we have really built is a human managed autonomous fabric which orchestrates multiple different intelligence across 20 plus industry assets which we have created. And this creates a global intelligence loop connecting all benches and industries. So we have created a common language. We could apply different context to the specific business which wants to use us and then deliver a service in the shortest period of time. So this is basically about like running a service and an operation across a security operation center, or managing a construction site, or running a smart building. So this actually enables all type of services which helps with the running the operations of a business. Powered by 8 intelligence, 3 workbenches, and like 18 different faces which we use, which has been modeled. So the idea is not to just use AI, it's a combination of human judgment and machine speed in the real world. We call this collective intelligence. So my team is here. You could actually talk to them about the details about how we built this agent, what models we use, how we are orchestrating this using AWS tools and like other open source tools. And we also have a real working demo where like currently we are serving close to 6 customers using exactly the same model. So that's actually my last slide. This is what we do.